All right, it's some 35 minutes after 7. Let's talk WAEC now. More messages on this subject because of what has happened in the last 24 hours or so. This one says, okay, back on WAEC. First of all, the head of the West African Examinations Council, Reverend Dr. Sam Mayoleno, has denied reports the 2016 West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination papers had been leaked. If anything, he says that some of the students had foreknowledge about the papers before going into the examination hall, drawing a distinction between a leaked paper and foreknowledge. The WAEC head said a paper is leaked when its content is circulated in the public some 24 hours or more before the exam is taken. However, it is foreknowledge when it is circulated few hours before the paper. I wonder how we would describe what has happened now. So why don't we listen to the head of the West Africa Examination Council, the Reverend Oleno.
There has not been any leakage. In our terms, what happened is referred to as foreknowledge. Leakage occurs maybe 24 hours or more before the exam is taken. But in this case, it happened a few hours before the start of the exam. And we suspect that some of the persons engaged in the conduct of the exams, when the question papers are given to them from our depot to the school or to the examination center, between the depot and the examination center, they open the questions, use their phones to take shots of it, and then they put it on the social media. So what is happening is actually not a leakage, but rather is foreknowledge being perpetrated by some of these exam officials, engaged to conduct the exam.
When you say you suspect, which individuals are we looking at here?
Well, it's between supervisors and invigilators, and of course, most of them are teachers and employees of the Ghana Education Service. But that does not mean that the Ghana Education Service itself is involved.
Your office has discovered that some authentic questions also went into circulation. Tell us more about this.
Well, exactly as I mentioned, that between the depot, the WAEC depot, where the questions are stored, and the examination centers, and even sometimes at the examination centers, when the questions are issued, are released from our depots for the conduct of the exam, then these persons and their agents use their mobile phone to take a snap of them, and then they put them in the social.
WAEC gave us the understanding that anytime there is a leakage, it would not hesitate to cancel the papers. Would WAEC be cancelling the supposed subject that have been leaked?
That is why we are saying that this is not a leakage. It is foreknowledge. So we aren't going to cancel any paper that have been written. And the exam is not going to be disrupted in any way. It will run as scheduled.
This is not a leakage. It is foreknowledge. It is English, really. That's what it is. But
you think he's just living in self-denial?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And if this had happened elsewhere with the history that we have, somebody would have excused themselves.
Yes.
And just said that I failed. But this is where we are.
Well, we don't take responsibility for a lot of
and I
things
think that it's a shame. I think it's a shame.
Yes.
Whether it's foreknowledge or leakage, somebody leaked something to someone. And that's not fair to the rest of the people, not only in the country, in Ghana, but in West Africa. But let's speak to the Greater Accra Chair of NAGRAT, Renee Senyo Kwame Koko, who's joined us on the telephone. Hello, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
What has happened with this ongoing examination? What is it a leakage for you, or this is foreknowledge? Because apparently there's a difference.
Come again?
I'm asking, with the leakage, with the fact that some people had seen some of the papers before going into the examination, Is it a leakage for you, or this is foreknowledge? You know, the head of WAEC is telling us that there's a difference between the two. I wonder if it matters. I don't know what you think.
To us, it does not matter. What happens is that a student having access to the question before writing is very bad. And whether it's foreknowledge or leakage, the value is the same. You know, we are tired of this annual ritual of leaking of papers. And we made it clear last year at the press conference that WAEC seems to be too powerful. And they don't, because they are the only body in this country organizing examinations. So they feel they can do anything they can and go away with it. So last year we called for the head of the WAEC to resign. It's an honorable thing. You see, in this country, people should be able to resign if they cannot handle situations. The man, I don't know him, but I know that he's a very mature person, a responsible person. And if some people under him are not trying to do the right thing, trying to sell the conscience of the nation for a peanut, then we are in a serious problem. So we feel that the director, the board chairman, and the one in charge of the WAEC should resign. And the way forward, we were thinking that there should be a second examination body so that WAEC will sit up. Let's look at some few things. This exam they are writing is called May-June. The title of the exam is May-June Wassce. They look at the time they are writing the exam. They see the time anyhow. They do things anyhow. So whether it's foreknowledge or leakage, the value is the same. Our students are having access to the question before writing, and that's not fair. I wonder what kind of student we are preparing to take over from us in this country.
But Mr. Kwame Koko, is GS not a part of this? The teachers are certainly a part of invigilating in the process of writing exams. You should also take part of the responsibility.
Let's take it one after the other. If teachers, local teachers are part of it, how did they get the question? If I'm a teacher and if I don't get a question, how will I solve for my students to write? And we Nagrat, we are against it. So any of our members that are a fan of this one, is a way we can find them, because at our last year annual delegate conference, our title, the theme for our 4 days conference was that protecting the integrity of our examination. And we as union, our purpose is to protect the integrity of our examination. So any of us that is found doing that kind of thing should be punished. That's one, and it's a crime. So they should not say that teachers are part of the whole thing. It's a crime. So whoever is in charge, whoever is caught doing it, should be punished.
Now, my name is Roland, and I'm on the program too alongside Mamavi. But more importantly, we know that in the practice of trying to conduct this whole examination are various people along the chain who tend to provide various roles. So when the paper is printed, however it's printed and how safely it's guarded, somebody has to do the printing, somebody has to do the transportation, and then even when it's transported, somebody has to gatekeep that very paper before it is distributed on the final day of the examination. Which of these difficulties or the problems that you're noticing you can only attribute to WAEC, and the rest you attribute to the gatekeepers?
WAEC is to print the examination, get custody of it, send it to the depot, and from depot to the examination center. All these processes is in the hands of WAEC officials. Now, even at the depot level at various districts, is the WAEC officials who are manning those depots with the security people. So printing and setting the question, printing, transportation, everything is done by WAEC. The last point is where the inflation is where the teachers and other people come in. But from printing to the depot, even from the depot to the center of the examination center, is by WAEC officials. Even now, listen, they have, when they go to the schools, they have what they call senior supervisors.
Hello, Mr. Kwame Koko, can you hear us?
Well, we seem to have lost him. We'll try and get him back on the line. But this is what we did. We tried to also speak to a former Director General of the Ghana Education Service. Very soon we will be having a recorded playback interview with Michael Nsoa, who was one-time Director General for the Ghana Education Service. But right now we want you also to be part of the conversation. Many of you have given us your own views. We'll also open the phone lines prior to our main discussion or AM talk on the World Health Organization diabetic subject. But let's read some of your comments.
I think if WAEC officials and teachers are paid well, examination more practices, okay, I'm sure, okay, you're linking it to if they're paid well, then we'll probably not be experiencing this. They should stop politicizing education. I can also minimize it. That's your opinion. Kindly include your name so we know who is sending us messages. Oh, why? When will this leakage of examination papers stop in Ghana? Even basic certificate examination papers are being leaked. The boss needs to be sacked. That's a message coming from Francis Kliko in Kliko in the Volta region. Thanks, Francis. This one says, let all Ghanaians know. Okay, no, let me calm down. Let all Ghanaians know that the country is in a state, not because I am not sure if this is relevant to our conversation right now, so I'm going to skip it and read something definitely related to what we are talking about. This one says, whether foreknowledge or leakage, the meat of the matter is that students saw the question before writing. So what is exams if I'm showed a question before I'm given this the same question to answer later? WAEC is a failure. I'm sorry. That's from Bright Kodia in Nkoko having his say as it should be. This one says, leaking WAEC exam questions is not for the purpose of getting students to pass their exams. The act has become money-making business in Ghana. Those involved are simply making millions of money. Tijamba Samson from Chiana on this. You can give us a call now if you're watching us, you want to contribute to this conversation. And I asked the question of, should we begin to be making a lot more money, Roland, so that we can have our children go to schools that will not write the GES? 030221169102. Those are the numbers that you can call to be a part of this conversation. 030221169102. Just before you come in, Roland, this one says, good morning, Walker. At our time, we call it WAEC papers because ladies normally hid it there. From Babaja Setridumase. I don't get it, but maybe Roland does. Why? Oh, no. It's not WAEC. It says WAEC Pampers. That's how they used to call it.
Yeah,
WAEC Pampers.
Okay, so we now have Mr. Kwame Koko back on the line. But so we were having this very conversation about whether WAEC is supposed to be solely responsible, and you have made that very clear. Do you think perhaps with the advent of a lot more technology and the more likelihood that somebody will transmit a material from one point to the other a lot more easy, do we need now to have a certain rethink about the technology or the way in which we print and then even transport the materials and finally onto the table of the students in the examination hall?
You see, fine. What I was saying is that the transfer of the material is still done under the supervision of WAEC.
Well, we know that, but I'm asking that. But I'm asking that with the current state of the evolution of technology and the change in the world structure of the way things are done, do we need a change in the way perhaps we do the printing, the transportation, and finally get the paper onto the table of the students in the examination hall?
Yeah, you asked whether there should be a change in the mode of transportation.
Well, yes. If we have to do electronic printing the day of the examination, maybe have a printer there, and then we can print for all the students in the examination hall. It makes a lot more sense. So nobody sees the paper until when it is emailed to somebody that very minute. What do you think?
Yes. That would be a good one. If only they have the capacity to do that one, that would be very good. Because we are tired of this leakage. If they have the capacity to do that, why not? That was very good. The day of the examination, early in the morning, printed, sent by email, early in the morning, printed, the students write the exam. Fine. Because, you see, this issue that we are looking at is a serious issue. And if care is not taken, the future of this country is not too bright. You understand? These are the children that will take over from us when we are not there. And they are the people that are cheating in an examination like this. It's a serious issue. Now, there are some few things that I want to share on this issue. One is that parents want their children to go to the very endowed school, and they are very few. So whatever means they can also do to get their children going there, whether good or bad, they are doing it. So one, we are thinking that the government should be able to expand all secondary schools so that all secondary schools will be well endowed for any parent to send his or a child to that, so that the desire for a few schools that always want only 11 ones or 10 ones before they can admit children. Don't tell them not be there, so that parents can send their children to schools around. That's one. Two.
Hello, Mr. Kwame Koko.
Well,
Okay.
we seem to have lost him. And Mr. Kwame Koko.
I think he was making a second point there. We'll try and get the points and share with you. But we also have others joining us on this conversation. So, Roland, we've got somebody joining us from Tamale.
We have Castile on the line from Tamale. A very good morning to you, Castile. Your views on this very subject of the leakages, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I think the issue is about the Ghanaian society. It's like the WAEC as a body has to blame because they are enjoying monopoly. But what I think we can do as a nation is to be able to overcome this is to reform our education system. We need to reform it. Let's try and find ways and means of revolutionizing the Ghanaian society. Otherwise, these things will persist. The children, the only show of the children in their ability to pass is the fact that they have to copy. That is the Ghanaian mentality now. Look at our leaders, excuse me my language, but look at the leaders to where I'm speaking to you as a teacher. And I know what I go through when I'm in the classroom teaching.
Okay, so in summary, you're saying that as a society, we're now having a penchant for shortcuts.
Yes.
Okay.
We have to revolutionize our society.
All right, your point has been made. Your point has been made, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you too very much. And we also have Richard from Tamale on the line, Mamavi.
Hello, Richard. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Let's hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Richard.
Yeah, for me, I'm so much disappointed.
Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Yes, you said you're disappointed
I'm disappointed
Okay.
on the position of the YU board. What evidence does he need again? These are questions that are all over the social media. And you come out and tell the general public the students only had foreknowledge of the questions and it is not. I don't understand. And I haven't made any sense from his submission. What does it mean by foreknowledge of the questions? They send the questions before going in to write the examination. So what is the difference between having foreknowledge of the questions and leakage? I think we are married a reputation on the issue of these leakages. And you see, we have structured our system in such a way that it has become examination centered. Once you are able to make all A's in your examination papers, you are considered as the most outstanding student. So people will go every length to get these things in order to perform so that they can make names.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, we have to wake up from our slumber. What makes an examination if you see the questions before you sit for it? It doesn't become examination any longer. We are just deceiving ourselves.
I get you. Very important point you make there, Richard. We have to make way for others to also contribute. So if you can make it brief for us when you join us. Michelle is in Kintampo and she's joining us via phone. Hello, Michelle. Good morning.
Morning. I'm calling from Atimpuku.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
Okay. Thanks for
So first of all, is your name Michelle?
Michelle.
Okay, cool. Let's hear you.
Thanks for the good work that you are doing.
Thank you too.
My view is that they must to provide police, security, and then the soldiers, so that they can monitor those who set the exam at that moment. Like, for example, you, Mama V, you are going to set the exam today, be with your computer. The police officers will be with you. It is those who set the exam, they link the exam to the ministers, the children.
Hey, this one is
yes.
a very big allegation that you're making. Can you prove? I mean, what makes you think the way you are thinking?
They have the poor person cannot go and buy
Well,
is that the basis? If that's the basis, I don't think it's fair enough for us.
Well, thank you very much, though, for your view from
yeah.
Michelle from Atimpoku.
I know that a lot of us are very angry, but we shouldn't get to the point where we're making very huge allegations that we cannot, prove. We'll speak to the very last person on this subject. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. What's your name, please?
My name is Alliance. I'm calling from Wassce.
Okay, let's hear you quickly, sir.
Yeah. My suggestion to this league paper is that the league is only between from the people to the schools, where they kept the papers and they send the authorization to the school. It's only in between the WAEC officers and the security. So I see that the schools at times contribute some amount and give it to them before they leak the papers. If not, I don't think these papers can leak. But the way the WAEC boss was talking as if the papers is not, that was the reality. The papers are already leaked. It's just that they are putting something to cover it. If not, the papers all over the place. What do you need again to show that the paper has not leaked?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. And I think that in the absence of why this is happening, a lot of us are coming up with different ideas why we think,
yes,
but we said last caller, Patrick has a favorite, and the person is on the line. Hello, good morning.
Meshach. Meshach, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Prestia.
Oh, Prestia. Okay, please, your short comment.
Well, I look good one.
He says you look good.
Thank you.
Yeah. You see, it is high time we really set up in issues like this. In the U.S. and in Canada, they conduct exams like the STARS, LSTARS, where thousands and millions of people write. But you never hear of examination. Why is it happening in Ghana? Why is it just small, as compared to the LSTARs and the STARS?
Hello, Meshach. I think we're having difficulty hearing you. The line keeps breaking.
Oh.
It's not a stable connection.
Hello?
Okay, I think it's better. Yes.
Yes. So I was saying that we should put those people who are in the helm of affairs responsible, and they should own up and resign when things don't go.
Okay. Okay, and then the line is getting bad again. I'm afraid we have to end.
But we've gotten the gist of your point. You're saying that in the United States they conduct bigger examination packages and with various examination schemes, because you have TOEFL, you have SAT, etc. But you don't hear that those papers.
So maybe we should learn from how they are doing it.
Yeah, that's right. I think we have to bring technology. In the past, people didn't have to transfer through these very social mediums that we have. If you have a paper from Accra, you have to travel with a car to the next school to go and do the leakage. But now somebody can sit in Accra and in the twinkle of an eye just give you a photograph, which you can even scan and print. Or you can even print straight away.
Salasi Wenchi on WhatsApp says, Mamavi, it's a capital big shame and WAEC officials must bow their heads and shame. Why can't Ghanaians for once take responsibility rather than shamefully defending their jobs? The examination body called WAEC must be dissolved because there is nothing credible to their name and what they do. That's from Salasi in Wenchi. Good morning, Mamavi and Roland. You're looking splendid. We say thank you. Stefan from Takrade. We cherish you too. So thank you so much for doing the watching every time and contributing. Let's charge the universities randomly to conduct our exams for just 5 years and see if things will change. That's from David. I don't know if it's in the positive or the negative sense. This one says, Mamavi and Roland, good morning. This leakage is becoming too rampant. Our tertiary institutions should introduce a strict mechanism before they enter there. This will help. This will make the SHS prepare well before they set for Wassce exams. That's from Befi in Ejura. This final one, hello, good morning. Please, this is a shameful situation and the head of WAEC should accept the unfortunate situation and resign. Corruption has become normal in this country, but remember, we are the same people who go to church or the mosque. We are entertaining all wrongdoings in this country. God should have mercy on us. Nana from Agona Swedro. And on that note, I acknowledge that we do have a lot more messages in relation to this. We'll come back and share with you. But today is World Diabetes Day. It's World Health Day, and the focus is Beat Diabetes. We have an interesting conversation on AM Talk coming up right after this.